Scano, Annie, good morning. Nice to see you.
Oh, it's good to see
Show
you
Miss
too.
Allen on this beautiful strawberry moon
Good for you.
day, right? Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, is it a rock or is it?
Yes, it's a
It's a rock.
stone. And
Wow.
I picked this up when I was traveling with the grandmas. We did a retreat, and yeah, I found it on the way to Manitoulin Island. Well, I didn't
Wow.
find it on the ground. I found it in a store.
Well,
I bought
sometimes
it,
it'll find you.
right?
Right.
Yes, and it did. So good morning. It's really great to see you and this beautiful day. I was up early, so it was really nice. I did my offering and my gratitude this morning, and I'm so grateful for those teachings, from the grandmas. One of the first things they taught me was that, and I can honestly say that my family, my mom is a great gratituder. And always, told us to be grateful and loving. And I'm grateful and loving to my family today. And my extended family, you, Alan, for always showing up for our community and to share teachings and for the people. And this series that you created is really beautiful. And we're here at part two, and it's really great to see you and be alive right now in this time, even though the it's a little bit challenging for our world, but we know that we're going through change. And so I'm excited to learn more about the creation story and why we're here, how we got here, what our purpose is. So Nyawa for joining us. Hello to everyone who will be joining us this morning, or later on, or on our YouTube at another time. Greetings. Thank you for joining us on Grandmother's Voice platform. It's a platform that was created several years ago with the grandmas, and it was at a time through COVID where the grandmother said we need to reach the people. We need to be able to share with them uh, teachings and the importance of connection and reconnecting and staying connected, and then also understanding our purpose together and what that means. So, Nyawa for joining us.
Well, it's always a pleasure, Jody. It's always a pleasure to be with Grandmother Voices. It's uh, it's a blessing that we were connected. Um, I think it was about a year and a half ago, and we did a lot of work since then. So we're ready. If you have my slide to put up there, and we'll get going. Thank you, Jody. Um, this is part two of the creation story. It's once a month we're going to be doing this, and it's a journey. Now it's a combination of Anishinaabe worldviews and our teachings, and with holistic and spiritual teachings that the world is offering us to this day. So I'm going to introduce myself. Waabishki Menesazit Mesatem Nisakaz. Bijuri Dodem Ishkunaning Donji. Anishinaabe name. White Spotted Horse is my spirit name. I'm of the Lynx clan. I'm from Scotland First Nation of Treaty 2 territory and in the middle of Canada, uh, in the heart of Turtle Island is where I live today at Cooks Creek. And my common name is Alan Sutherland. Now, in part one, there was a little bit technical difficulties. We got that all ironed out, but I'll start from there because there are still teachings that I left off that I need to explain more. So let's begin. All right. So we began that everything started off with nothing, and then there was color, but the whole process was like even what we have today as human beings, we have this capability of creation. It starts off with an idea or a dream or an image, and then it starts a whole process of creation, and then it happens. And that's what we talked about the first part. Now, I'm just getting familiarized and how to move. So the sparks of life, or the sparks of this creation that I talked about, of a father and mother creation energy, masculine and feminine. That is the seeds of creation, and it blew everywhere. It went everywhere. It created everything. It created all these places, these dimensions, these galaxies, these solar systems, planets, and the Earth. So that's where we're going to pick up with where I left off. Which I left off is the development of our solar system, our solar neighborhood, with that sun. That sun is our focus. And I met the sun today. I always meet it every day. Be thankful for the sun. I gaze at the sun. I thank the sun for the wisdom that is offering us, and I do that every morning. Now we're going to pick up where we left off. The seeds of life started creating the earth itself, and then bombarded the earth. But before I even talk about all of creation and how it was set up, I'm going to go back to the teachings of the five elements. Now, this is where we had problems before. I don't have this platform doesn't allow me to click on every. It just shows a slide. It doesn't show, and that's where we lose the teaching. So I have to work from this. So it's going to look a little bit blurry in front of you. I spent a whole day putting in all the little points, but that's okay. We'll figure this out. Now, I left off the teaching of the five elements of life. When the earth was developed, these are the elements of life that created everything. And the first one I want to talk about is space. Space is in itself. It's in between of everything. It's the the things that we see is called matter. Our perspective is the physical world. But the greater space is the greater void, or the space itself is greater than that. It's in between everything. Everything is energy, but it's in between everything. And you can feel that space when you're grounding yourself or meditating, or you go to take a walk in the woods or walk at night. You can feel in the air or go by the ocean. You feel that the difference, that space. Otherwise, everything else can be a distraction. So in space is life itself. It holds everything together. It also has the possibilities. There's probabilities based on decisions that we make or what we do, but the possibilities is endless. That's where miracles happen. So we'll get into that to the next when I get into the other teachings. But just keep that in mind, that all the universe works towards what we want from it. The other part of the elements I'm going to start off with is fire, because the whole process of the formation of the earth started off with that spark, which ended up being a fire. And then we'll start the teaching from there. So the fire is what created from those gases to fire, and then a formation of itself that eventually will become the earth. So there are teachings about fire being very energetic, inspirational, inspired, joy. When you wake up every morning, that fire, that flame that was at rest, and then you start meeting the day, you get up, you start meeting the day, that fire is now burning. It's now burning, giving you the energy. Let's go. The next teaching is air. within is a sense of freedom. Is that air is a breath of life. There is no life. You can't even touch the source of life as a human being without breathing. So that's the breath of life. That's where when you're mindful of your breathing or you do breathing exercise techniques, you are actually being mindful of that connection to the source of everything. So air brings that flexibility. One of the things I really enjoy in life is when the wind blows on my face or I'm watching the sky and I can feel the breeze. I really enjoy that. The next teaching is Nibi, is water. And water is a sense of comfort. It teaches about flowing, contentment, going with the flow. And it reminds us that life is about the flow. Anything that is still could become stagnant. You know, and you don't want that. Even as a human being, we are like our earth base, like Mother Earth. You shouldn't even call it Earth. You should just call it water because it's a water planet. Because the majority of it is water. A lot of life to the Earth itself comes from that water, including the oxygen. Trees get all the credit, vegetation gets all the credit, but a lot of that oxygen is flowing from the oceans, from the waters. So the water itself is very soothing. Soothing. It always feels good to be by a river, by a lake, a stream, an ocean, and especially if you've been to an ocean, you see the power of the waves. It's powerful. You're overwhelmed. Like this is amazing. Now the fifth element that I want to talk about is the earth itself. This is our home. It's a special place. And when I want to talk about the earth, how special it is because it has all the colors, so many colors. It has that beauty everywhere. And everything on the earth has purpose, including ourselves when we joined it. So all life has purpose. And the earth itself, Aki, is our mother. She's living. She's spirit in itself. She too has a soul. And she too has a purpose. And so we ground ourselves to her. We receive her healing. If you take off your shoes and plant your feet in the sand, in the grass, in the water, you can feel the healing that comes from her. So we are connected in that way. That's how we connect ourselves. That's called grounding. We need to do that. We need to align our vibrations, our frequency with Mother Earth. And we can do that by uplifting our own energy with songs, singing, ceremony. Because when you dance or in ceremony, there's a lot of sun dance ceremonies going on now into the summer. There's that rising of that vibration meeting with the earth. And that's what we got to remind ourselves. We too can even heal the earth. It's one of my messages to the sun dancers. It's usually on the fourth day you think about the world. You think about everybody in the world. But you should also help her heal by sending that vibration of love to her, to the tree of life, to her roots, into the earth. So she receives that love, that vibration to let her know we don't take her for granted, that we do appreciate all the gifts that she provides us. And I had this conversation yesterday because it's very common now. A lot of people can hear ringing in their ears, a vibration in their ears. Well, that's the frequency of Mother Earth shifting towards a higher plane, and we have to be in tune with that. We have to go along with her as she shifts and changes. She's also dealing with the fact that the world is in crisis. She's in crisis. especially with all the fires that are going on around the world, especially here at home in Canada. But it's also a form of cleansing. Wildfires has always been in humanity's life. It's a cleansing of renewal. It's just that even the Anishinaabe, us as indigenous people, would control it in terms of certain areas that needs to be burnt, but it was controllable. Nothing gets out of hand. So that renewal has to take place. So anyway, these are the 5 elements of space, of not only space, but of all the connections that we have here on this earth. So I wanted to emphasize that these elements are in us, that we described, not only the earth and where we are, but it's all in us. So I'll just go to the next one. So this teaching I want to focus on now is how is it all put together, especially in this beautiful place called the earth. And this is a teaching called the 7 planes of existence. But I learned about this teaching from the Anishinaabe, understanding that there are these 4 other levels beyond the earth. And over the years, I heard more and more about it, and how our healers have used their spiritual guides, ancestors, to provide healing. But I heard all the stories about all the different levels in connection to the Creator, Manitou, the creation of it all. So I wanted to focus on this teaching today, on those levels. And it's not just 7 planes of existence. That's called the mystery of life. There are so many other levels, other dimensions. But we always like to do our teachings in 7s. If not 7s, it'll be 4. If not 4 or 7, 13 or 9. You see, usually it's just a good way to organize our thinking, our thoughts, our teachings, to share with others. And now I'll start off by saying that I received this training from Diana Steibel, and she got it from a higher being. She got it, I believe, from Gabriel. But I've seen these teachings before. In fact, I've seen it with a Hindu teaching. I've seen it with Tibetan teachings. I even seen some of that in the Jewish people. They have a tree of life as well, and they have all these levels. Now, when I took it, it's called Theta Healing, and I use this quite a bit in my healing, in order to work with somebody by doing a breathing exercise, and then guiding them through a meditation prayer. That we go first to the core, we go to the earth, we get her energy, we bring it into our bodies, and then we fill that energy up, and then we go up now higher. We go up high, we go up higher. Just on top of us is the energy itself of our higher soul. We connect to our lower soul, our place on the earth. Now we're going on our higher soul, our higher self, and now we're going to go up. We're going to go up past up beyond the roof, beyond our sky, beyond the earth, beyond the moon, beyond the sun. And then we reach to another level when we get into that light. So we go beyond the 3rd plane, we go now into the 4th plane. We go into the world of spirits. And so we just keep going. We acknowledge, we're now in the world of spirits, but we keep going up. We keep going up. In between is that space. Then we go to the next light, and that is now the 5th plane, which is spiritual. Evolved masters, guardians, higher beings, and so forth. and then we go up higher. Then we go to where the laws are, and that one's not so much a light. It's more like gel, like Jello. It's just because everything's so in work and condensed. It's always working. It's always do what it has to do. That's the spiritual laws that holds everything together. And then when you go up, there's in between, there's that space, but it's a little longer. I mean, a little longer to go through because this is where you do cleansing. You have to purify oneself. It's like going through a sweat lodge of electricity and energy. It's also that calmness before you go to that light of that possibilities, those miracles, and then that silence, like that silence. And then you go to that light. Now you're with the source of everything. You're with the creator. And this is where you're going to have that conversation. And I always, when I do this meditation prayer, I remind everyone or the person in front of me. I says, when you talk to the creator, you are part of creation. You came from the creator. You came from the source of everything. You came from a creator, and you are a creator. So speak to the creator as a creator, not being wishy-washy, not say pretty please, less than you. You're a part of all creation. So speak to the creation equally. Even go as far to say, I command whatever you're asking. Because you're not asking pretty please, you're commanding. That's how we download healing. That's where we bring in, and this is where with theta healing, you download, if whatever they're dealing with, they need to say certain things in order to receive that download, to reframe, to rewire our bodies, our mind, body, spirit. We need to rewire to a new program. So we get healing at the same time. We get these beautiful healing waters that wash over us, and we have to say it's done. Not like, you can't be wishy-washy. I hope it happens. You can't do any of that. You got to be with conviction. I command, and then when it's said and done, then you say, it is done, it is done, it is done. And it is done. Because the whole universe is going to respond what you commanded. So you bring all that energy down, all the way back into, from heaven, from above, into you. You got that energy from heaven. Once again, you get that energy from the earth, bring it up, and you bring it into your heart, throughout your body, all the layers of your body, and you're now connected both heaven and earth. That is a very powerful healing prayer. But right now, it looks like a triangle. It looks like we went up somewhere to go and find God out there. I just want to let you know that's not how it works. See, all of creation, all of life, everything that happened, including the Creator, is all inside us. The journey is in going within. So all of life that happens to us, around us, is like a hula hoop. It's around us. We're in a sphere. We're in a ball. It's all around us. But in order to go what I just described to you is to go inside. That's where all creation is. And what's out there in that hula hoop is your projection of what's going on. Because remember, we're a co-creator. We created this earth. We created our life. But we are also being mindful that we live among creators. So all human beings are creation. They have free will. So they're creating their own world. They're creating their own life. And we're a part of this grand illusion. But But what is reality is this connection to the creation, to the creator, Manitou. And it's inside in each and every one of us. So we are the center of it all, the center of the universe. And sometimes I joke around. I says, when I meet with other people, work with other people, I says, and I'm a center of the universe and you are in my orbit. That's how we interact. Everybody's our satellites. So anyway, I start off with a hierarchy, this pyramid, because it's not the way it's taught. In our teachings, this is where I may move from Vayana, who happens to be partly, I think she's Lakota. Yeah, she's also Lakota. God creates the heavens and the earth, and we teach it in this way. Oh, I have to tell you, I had this all planned out. Every little one was broken down. Like with a click, it just tells the story. With another click, it shows another one. But here's the overall picture. Remember that everything is taught in circles, 7 sacred teachings. So I'll leave from this. God creates the heavens and the earth. Now that's a well-known quote in the Bible. Also, another well-known quote, which I'll talk about, which I just finished talking about, is the kingdom of God is within. That's another one what I was describing to you. As within, as without, as above, as below. This is what this teaching is. And everything is within. So in order to get help, it's not out there. You're going to get help from others that help you to go within. That's where the true healing begins. So I start off with these. This is called the 7 fires teaching of existence. And we like, again, the number 7, but we talk about fires a lot in the teachings. It's energy, it's creation, it's life. So the very first fire that was developed to create this beautiful place called the earth is the first fire that created the earth, that created our place. It cooled down. It cooled down to bring us rocks, minerals, the earth itself, rocks and minerals, and the water. And that's where the first fire is. That first level. And like I said, you go down there, and that's where you start by acknowledging the healing from the fire from within the earth. The second fire is the next level, is the organic level, is where the trees and the plants and the medicines are. Elementals. There are earth angels, elementals. And maybe things are getting better because I had taken out some candy and tobacco to a little altar I have in my garden and says, can you help me out? Can you not play some games on my computer? Things like that. So things are better. We'll just have to work out how do I shift the slides to one point at a time. So anyway, the tree world, the plant world is connected to the second fire, second fire, and the third level is all of us that's on this marble. I used to say that there was a time when we were stick figures on a hard surface called a marble, and that was all our perspective. Everything that we see was as far as the eye could see. But we're not just stick figures. We're human beings. There's so much layers of us. But anyway, we're not the only beings on the earth. There are many beings on the earth, including the animal world. There is also other spiritual beings that have their home on the earth. The one that comes to mind is Sabe, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. He's very interdimensional. That's why sometimes they can follow his footprints, and all of a sudden it disappeared. And he can go and vibrate to the next dimension. Anyway, there are interdimensional beings that calls the earth their home. So this is where we this is our sense of who we are on earth. It's usually we're on the planet itself. Just below us and around us is the vegetation, the trees, the plants, the medicines, and then there's the waters, and there's the rivers, and there's the oceans, and deep down there's minerals. So the next level, is the spiritual realm, which is all around us. It's not like, and I must say this. This is not a hierarchy teaching, the way I described it in the previous slide. This is going on all around us on all these levels right now. So the spiritual realm is just right next to us. We're in the spiritual realm, by the way. It's just that we can't see, and sometimes we can see our ancestors. We can see our spirit guides. We can see our spiritual council, which we all have. We all have spiritual council that connects to all of this. So they're higher beings, they're your ancestors, they're in the form of animals, they're in the form of whatever you want. You want angels, you got angels. You want an archangel to be part of your council, you got an archangel. But we all have those spiritual helpers. And they're at that level in the spiritual realm. And everybody has their own. Some come and go, some will stay for your lifespan here on this earth. And then when you're done in the journey, you go back home. You're essentially just walking from one room to another. That's how it goes. It's just right there. Now you're just there. You're on the other side. And this is where a lot of fear takes place. The teachings I'm going to have later on will talk about the human journey. And one of them is the fear of death, fear of the unknown. And then you get all confused in terms of, I guess, belief systems that talks about these things. And I just want to assure you that your spirit is infinite. It doesn't end. Energy does not end at all. It transforms, including the fact that your soul is going to go back to the source. So it'll go through the spiritual realm and goes through these other levels that I'm going to talk about. The fifth level of existence is ascended masters, higher beings, guardians, archangels. And this is where there are so much dimensions. There's so much levels, and just this fifth fire here alone is very busy. Everybody has a task, has responsibility, including the fact that we had ascended masters. We had those that walked the earth, experienced the earth, fully of the earth, and have achieved a higher frequency, a vibration, an understanding. They mastered the understanding of life itself and the mysteries of life, where they become ascended masters. And in our history, they come in the name of Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad and many other names that I can think of, that showed an example of ascending to a higher level of understanding. And they have these beautiful teachings on how we can achieve that as well. It's not to say that we are the only ones that can do this. Even Jesus says, you have all this ability that I'm going to share with you. you too are a healer. So he's shown a way, but he also shown how the earth can be so hard, full of emotions, all that free will that everybody has, all that fear. That's what we all have to deal with, including the ascended masters. So sometimes it wasn't easy, but everything in life is a lesson. So they gave us a lot of lessons. Now the fifth fire itself has all these different levels. And there was a teaching one time where he just said, when you pray, where does your prayer go? Well, it goes into that realm, that spiritual realm. Spiritual realm is organizing it, but it goes into that fifth fire.
Hey,
Yes.
excuse me, Alan.
Yeah.
I all of a sudden your voice is like the feed is really staticky,
Oh,
which is quite interesting to me. See if you
well,
can mute and then come back on because you started to speak about
you know,
spirit.
that's I was trying to appease the elementals, but I also have to honor spirit guides. They change frequency and also in electronics in my voice. So that's probably what happened. They're just showing themselves, hey, here we are. You're talking about us.
I love it. That's what I was feeling. I just got goosebumps.
And that's electricity again. That's your body reacting to its spiritual connection.
Yes.
So the hair goes on top of your back of your head. You feel a little breeze in your ear. You feel goosebumps on your arms. That is spirit or the spiritual world saying, yeah, we always was part of you. Anyway, they're very excited on the subject matter.
Mm-hmm. Can you just try to mute and then
Oh,
unmute?
I did.
Did you already? Oh, okay. Well, it
Yeah,
is what
and
it
I
is.
turn it back on again.
Okay. Well, keep
Okay.
going.
Okay, I'll keep
We'll
going.
acknowledge the spirit is joining us.
Okay, I'm just gonna say to the Spirit Council, bonjour. Just let me finish this part, and I just got a few more levels to go yet. Miigwech. Okay. Now we go up to a higher level, where all the laws puts it all together. So these are the laws of our understanding how it all works. So this is where we have creation stories, origin stories, but it's our way to understand how it all works. So we're very limited in our understanding, but this trust that this great mystery is always at work. And what I just described to you is that we're not in the only dimension there is. There's many other dimensions. There's many other solar systems. There's many other galaxies. There's many other levels of existence. But this happens to be where we are at the moment. Now we're ready to go in next level. So like I said earlier, we do a cleansing. There's like a electrical cleansing, vibrating our spirit. Now there's that calmness. And now we go into the seventh level of existence, which is the source itself, is to go back into that source where we came from, that overwhelming love, peace, knowing. But we're very limited. That's why we do this process. We're very limited. We even forgot that we came from such source. But now we have an opportunity to talk to the creator, Manitou, all of creation, all the creators, because everything is creators. We're all creators. Everything's creators. And now, we're dealing with things. We want, we can ask for help, but command the help. Command what you're seeking. Now, when all of creation knows your journey and knows that there are certain things that are not going to learn at the moment, but you did have that access to all that information prior to coming to the earth. But now there are some that are going to be limited to you until you are ready. and you shall receive. And that's the purpose of our journey, is to seek out lessons and teachings, and to evolve, to grow. And that's our contribution to all of creation. We contribute our journey. How did your journey go? Oh, it was so beautiful. But I made mistakes. I forgot. Because remember, I said earlier, I think I did say that there was a veil that goes over us when we come to the earth, we come to this life, right? So we forget. And then there are times when he says, "Oh, I didn't have a chance to fulfill my responsibilities, my contract, to be a service of others for my growth. I got overwhelmed in the journey of the earth. I was distracted, and it was heavy, it was hard, and I got lost in it." And then you say, "Can I go back?" I got to address karma. I got to address all these things. Can I go back? And if that's your choice, we'll give you that opportunity. So these are the 7 levels of existence. And when I say existence, this is our human knowledge. This is our human knowledge. So this is a teaching where we still have all these other levels to understand. And we can do that in learning, even in Reiki, these energy channels, the 7 that we work with. But then there's 8, there's 9, there's 10, there's 11, there's 12, there's 13. How high does it go? In one of I learned along the way that Jesus is as high as the third. I think it's the 9th. No, not 9th. The 13th level, and he wants to be. Whoops. And he wants to be still connected to the earth. So his consciousness, his presence is still here, while he's all over the place and all those other levels. So that's what they call Christ consciousness. And that's what's one of his message, that you can ascend to that level. You can be that level. In fact, when you're with the source of everything, you're a part of that level. But when you're a human being, you gotta, it's part of the journey, is to how do I get there. So anyway, that's the teaching of the 7 fires of creation. Miigwech. I'll leave it as that. I'll have a little conversation. So I'll just stop the. Oh, you did it for me. Thank you. So how was that for you?
Amazing, as usual. Before I started to do the work, like in my own culture and my own teaching, spiritual teachings, I was on that path where I had a really cool spiritual mentor that taught me everything that you spoke about. And anyway, she was amazing. And hello, because she passed away, Tammy, and she was really amazing, and she really taught me about a lot about my own connection to spirit and clairvoyance and all of that good stuff. So when I started to visit with the grandmas and the elders, and it was so the transition to knowing my true connection to my source and myself was pretty amazing. It was just so, I'm so grateful to her. You said so many little reminders about, the candy outside and your spirit council and all the juicy reminders every day, because, we need those reminders, especially in times now are very challenging. And I don't even like to say very challenging. This is just what we have to experience in life. And so having mornings like this, Alan, is really powerful and that's just joyful. And I'm grateful that we have this opportunity to remind people that we are it. We are the creators of our own world. And yeah, some of those reminders about the people, those in your circle, your hoop. What did you call it?
Oh, a
In
hula hoop.
you're right, right? And that they come for a reason. There's that mainstream saying they come for a reason, a season, a whatever, lifetime, I don't know. And that when people come into your life, for whatever reason, it is always for teachings. So whatever the, discomfort, feeling, whatever emotion, sense that person brings to you, is your responsibility to acknowledge it and figure out what the teaching is about it. So I guess that's why I really enjoy surrounding myself with people like yourself, because I don't want to be around bummer people that come in and disrupt my hula hoop. I'm tired of those teachings. I don't want to learn any more about that. I love this. And I love
Oh
the
yeah.
people who are here. So Nyawa, for those reminders and those teachings. And is there anything that you'd like to share now
Yeah,
that
when you brought up how difficult it is to be on this journey of life, in the midst of all that beauty and opportunities, we still have to deal with our emotional state of all these emotions, right? But everything that occurs, these occurrences, are teaching moments, and it has many purpose, because from these occurrences are usually two blessings. What are the blessings to move forward towards? But when occurrences do things, they shake you up. They your natural tendency is to shrink or to hide, to say, woe is me, and pity yourself. But it shakes things up by saying there are things that still needs to be addressed before we move forward. And that's the healing process. So it's when things are shaken up, it's a reflection point. But don't stay still. Do things. Move forward. Always moving forward. Do something about it. So everything comes with the good, the bad, you know, the the ugly, and the blessings. That's what life is all about.
I love the putting the blessings at the end, because I never really liked how, good, bad, the ugly, and then what, right? It's the four directions: good, bad, ugly, blessings. Let's get back to that. Uh, Truly, again, so grateful for these opportunities to visit with you at the beginning of a day. I feel like in a time where we're in super powerful medicine time with the strawberry moon, and knowing that, it's the gratitude for that first berry, and the heart berry, and the love that berry represents. So we're just going to continue to do talks like this, bring wisdom to the people, reminders that you are the medicine within. Uh, you have that with you, and grateful for those of you who join us and continue to support this platform. And we'll see you in another month,
Hmm.
next month.
Then the next one is being a human being. That's where the next journey shift is going to be.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be I think people can prepare their space for that one. I think, because this is when we can really start to look at ourselves and how we are in this world. And that's so important for this time. Uh, and that's, again, and something else that I'm grateful for, being surrounded by such amazing elders, people that have this wisdom and want to transfer it to the people, so that they are prepared for being in community or being in someone else's hoop. Be responsible for your energy when you're in someone else's hoop. So, again, thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next month with Mission Miss Allen.
Akana Danawe Maganak, all my relations, enjoy life. Miigwech.
Acknowledge those ancestors that have joined us as well.